Getting up there almost.
Be senior citizen.
You're live.
We are live. Welcome everybody. It's the NarikChase channel. I'm Ken. That's Narik, who you can actually see. Me, I'm just a Punisher logo. It's a great theme for Halloween, don't you think? Today is episode 147 of Breaker Debates, which is a good record for us because we're moving right along. I think.
Hell, we almost to that 150 mark.
Yeah, we ought to do something really cool for 150. I don't know. We got plenty of time. Like 3 episodes to figure it out. So what are we talking about today? Well, at least our first hour is going to be a good subject. Last week, if you remember, we did kind of like an 80s review of the horror movies. We're doing a 90s horror movie review today. And granted, it'd be just like last week. There are so many movies that I didn't realize how many movies there were, and I'm still only touching a few. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we'll probably have to come back on another show and literally hit the ones we did not get this time.
Yep. So
there are a lot of good ones. I mean, I didn't realize the 90s had that many movies in it that were really cool. And I realized I've seen a lot of these and just had no idea that it didn't tie to me in the brain. And some of them I didn't even see too much later in my life, like Army of Darkness. Heck, I didn't watch that movie until I was probably like 2000, maybe a little bit later, and I finally saw it, and I was like, oh, man, that's actually a great movie. So
I remember seeing but I think I never actually paid attention. Because of all the Evil Dead movies, that's the one I've seen the most.
Yeah, I could care less about the first two. This one's the one I love the most because I like Bruce Campbell. I like the style that he has. And, I mean, it's a campy horror movie, but it's got some moments where you're like, oh, but it's a great movie. And it's got humor in it, which is right along my lines. And I think really one of my favorite movies in that time frame has got to be Army of Darkness.
Yep.
Just starting it off right about, might as well hit that one right off the bat.
It's fun. That's one thing about the Evil Dead series that I really appreciate.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of wacky, and it can have like scary elements to it, but it's fun.
It is. It's a fun movie. Even I didn't get to watch the TV series yet. I think they did 2 seasons of that. Brought Bruce Campbell.
3. I seen the first
3. Okay.
I saw the first 2 seasons.
And shop smart, shop smart. Come on. What's not to love about Bruce Campbell?
He definitely owns that role.
Oh yeah, and he'll never have a replacement. There's just no way. And they were talking about trying to do an evil. I don't say an Evil Dead reboot, but that's probably what they're going to bill it under. And I don't see it. I can't.
They had one. It came out in 2013, and I liked it. I liked it because it was like it was serious.
Was it the campy horror style?
No, it was serious.
Okay.
But one thing I can say about them, they did a fantastic job with the special effects, a lot of practical effects. Like almost all of the stuff they did was practical effects.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah, I actually liked it, and it put me on to Jane Levy as an actress, and I've enjoyed her work since then. But I'm not. We're gonna do an Evil Dead video one day. That's one thing I do want to. I want to talk about the movies and the series. I go down the list. I know you've seen Misery.
No, actually, I have not.
That is one of Stephen King's like one of the best Stephen King movie adapted books.
I practically may have seen it through pieces, parts, and reading. So I know the gist of the movie, but I have never actually watched it. I've seen little clips where he tries to get away and she puts his ankles up to them bricks. Shatters his ankles, and I mean that I was done right there. I'm over it. Can't do it.
Like Kathy Bates, that's her second Stephen King role that I've seen. Because she did play in Dolores Claiborne, and I think she played in one more, but she got that role. She had that role down pat. Like she should have gotten an Oscar for that. I
remember a lot of people talking about that movie.
Yeah, she's
especially
got an
just
award
the
for
fact
that.
that she just played the sweet psycho. Don't
Yes.
cross the sweet psycho.
Yeah,
I remember a lot of people talking about going to see that movie.
that's one role. Like I say, she owned that role. She did it. She did it in.
I
I'm
think she
scared
did
of her.
something. Wasn't she in? Did not she do one of those? What's the one on American Horror Story? Didn't she
I
play
haven't
the
seen it.
witches?
I haven't seen it, but I know she played in one of the seasons. Yeah.
Because I thought she played. I think it was AHS Witches or something. She had a very similar style.
She is
And
gold. I would say that about her. She owned that
good.
freaking role. I
Yeah, Mildred
I know
Willis.
you've seen the Relic before, right?
I think I have seen the relic. Actually, that rings a bell. I was trying to find it
About,
here real quick.
about the
Because some of them I may not know. I mean, I may have caught
yeah
them like part way through. And that one at the museum
yeah
and whatever that thing was came to life.
My Boom, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I like the movie. That movie used to scare me when I was a kid because this big old monster that's ripping people's heads out off and stuff. And it's quite like the practical effects for the creature is actually pretty good, and it's really frightening the way like the way it's designed and everything. Like to intimidate it. It's really intimidating to look at.
Kagatha. Kagatha.
Yeah, Kogata. Yes.
Yeah.
Why did I say Maboon?
I don't know. I had to go and read it. Yeah, I think I have actually seen. Yeah.
I think that's the name of the statue, but the creature, it's I don't know. For some reason,
Well, no,
Maboon.
it's called a stone statue of the Kothaga, a
Yeah,
mysterious forest monster. And it comes to life and does some serious. If I remember right, man, it was all kind of bad.
See, one interesting thing about that movie is it's based off a book. And after watching the movie for so many years, I decided I wanted to read the book. So when I read the book was surprisingly good. Even though the creature, like, the creature was different than in the book. And, like, there was two characters, no, it was one character that was in the book that's not in the movie. Which after I read the book, I really would have liked to see that character in the movie. But for those who like horror, like reading horror, that's a good book to read.
I will. I'm gonna have to rewatch this one because I remember some of this, but I don't remember the tail end of it. I'm like, what? I
It's got a
totally missed
pretty
that.
interesting twist. It's got a pretty interesting twist in the film.
Yeah, that I was like, I don't remember that in the film. But then again, I may have caught it so quickly that uh, it kind of floated through. But it was, I mean, I remember it. It was pretty creepy though. I mean, the way everything was going down, it was like, oh, what a bloodbath.
And it was that thing didn't. Now there is some things that happen in the movie, and I was like, that doesn't kind of make sense. But I'm not. When I do like a video review about it or something like that, I can talk about it then.
Expand it a little bit.
I know you've seen this movie, The People Under the Stairs.
No. Remember, I'm not the big horror movie kind of guy.
It's horror, but it's not like horror, like monsters and stuff like that.
It's creepy because they are under the stairs and they are cannibal or whatever they were. But that's not my genre of movies. I mean, granted though, I'm looking at these movies and I'm like, okay, like they kind of categorize a lot of movies that I think are really cross-platform, not necessarily horror movies, but
Yeah,
like Silence of the Lambs, Tremors, kind of bounce between the faculties, more sci-fi horror.
yeah.
Sleepy Hollows, more fantasy slash gothic. I'm just kind of hitting a couple of movies, just kind of doing a comparison here. Like The Craft, it's kind of a horror movie slash fantasy type style movie.
I like
But then you put Gremlins 2 in there. You know, I mean, come on. You know, and then there's Child's Play. So you have a little bit. Oh, The Frighteners. Now that was a good movie.
Wasn't that the one with the spirits?
Yes, where he could see dead people, and then all
Yeah,
these people he would see like a number on their head. Next thing you know, they all get killed and die.
yeah, yeah. It was
That movie
yeah.
was actually a really good movie because it was a little bit of comedy again, kind of like we're talking Evil Dead, but it
Hmm.
had some creep ass stuff, and I'm like, whoa. And then it has a couple twists to the story too on top of that. So
Yeah,
I
that was actually
definitely
pretty good.
I definitely put that on my recommended list for the '90s horror movies because
Mm.
it's not my normal style of movie, but I definitely remember that one very vividly, and that's one on there that you need to watch.
And plus, if you like Michael, was it J. Fox?
Yep.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job in the movie too.
Oh yeah, and they got R. Lee in there, and I'm trying to remember all the people. There was a lot of people in that movie. Danny Elfman did the music for it, which was cool because I like Danny Elfman as a composer. Nerd. Yeah, don't let that fool you. But it's a good movie, definitely a good movie, and a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and some really. It was kind of original. There was a lot of originality to that movie too. It wasn't just like a haunting or Ghostbusters or whatever. I mean, there was actually some good thought and principle put into that movie, which was fun
Yeah,
too.
you're right about that.
I'll tell you another one that was, um, well, actually two, but one that was something that was very different. And I don't know if you'd really. I mean, it has a lot of key elements of scary horror, bloodbath, but it's different. It was something very different that really hadn't been out, and that was a movie called Cube,
I've
where
seen
basically
it, but I
six
don't
people
remember.
wake up in a cube, and they're all different. They all come from different backgrounds, and they end up in what appears to be a giant cube, and it has every room has a door, and every so often the cube rearranges itself, and the goal is to get yourself out alive without getting killed.
Like
And
Saw,
yeah, I guess you could say it was the original Saw, but Saw was punishing people that were
uh,
related.
quote unquote, punishing people.
Yeah, well, it was giving you the option to redeem yourself or pay the price. Basically, that's how Saw to me is what Saw kind of stood for. But like you have all these different people, different things. One's a student, one's a special needs kid, one is a cop, one is a turns out to be like a murderer, and there's all these people just kind of stuck in this box trying to get out, and it just goes all through kind of crazy stuff, um, to give you a little bit of everything in that movie, and it was a Canadian style or Canadian made movie, but it's actually pretty freaking good.
Hmm. I need to check that out.
Story to go.
I've seen it. No, I mean I've seen it. It's just been I only seen it like one time, and it was like I was
Mhm.
10 years old.
Yeah, I saw Cube once, and I didn't get to finish it, so I had to kind of read on it. But it was something different. It was not your pure, straight out of the box, scary horror movie. It's a thinking man. I don't even say thinking man's movie. There's concept, there's thought, there's kind of like Frighteners, but it's not purely to scare you. But it has a story intertwined in itself amongst the six characters. Plus, you're trying to figure out who built the cube, why was the cube built, why were these six people chosen, and it leaves you with all these questions as you go through the movie. And some people die pretty badly. Some die really coolly too, but I'll leave that for you to watch. But that's another one of those kind of mid-range. Is it really a sci-fi? Is it a horror movie? Is it kind of an action movie? What is it? But it's a good movie. It's definitely worth a rental, and I probably would have. I don't think I've seen it in theaters, but definitely worth a rental, or downloading it, however you wish, whatever works.
We do not endorse
Not that we
pirating of
endorse any of
cinema,
that stuff.
but if you can watch it any way you can, do
Yeah,
it.
it is definitely worth your while. And another one that was kind of an unusual movie. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come here. There's another movie that I kind of got caught on, and I wasn't really sure. I remember the commercials for it, but there was a movie called Mimic,
I love that movie. Grew up on it.
and It's a Guillermo del Toro movie, which I did not know until just now,
I didn't realize.
and I had no idea he did that or had some play into that. So that explains a lot. But it's got a lot of the big people: Josh Brolin, Marina Sorvo,
Charles S.
Charles
Dutton.
Sutton. I was trying to think of that guy. Oh, Murray Abram. Neat. Norman Reedus is in there too. That's where he actually came to the movie theater. But it's kind of basically, people are getting something called Strickler's disease, and it's making people super sick. And a doctor basically uses genetic engineering to create a bug that will
Kill
um,
off the roaches.
get
That's
rid of
us.
all the problem, get rid of the Strickler disease problem, and basically, kill them through metabolism or whatever. But that's kind of nitnoid, whatever. But many, I think, was this like what 3 years later? It says
Yep.
after that happens, people start disappearing, weird things start happening. Um, a lot of things are going. Well, these bugs basically have
Mutated.
evolved. Well, they actually evolved, and they find that they're evolving very crazily because it's only been 3 years, and evolution takes longer than that. And there's a scene where it looks like a person, a guy's talking or looking like it, and he gets closer and closer, and it's like snatches this lady, like gone, and it's one of these bugs, and it's like the size of a human, but it looks like a human. It's
It,
mimicking its prey.
it does it like with it's if it it's most effective in the dark because the silhouette is humanoid as well
Yeah,
as that
but
thing
what
that
you
kept
see
covering their
ain't
face.
human.
But
Yeah,
if you can actually put the shine a light on it or something, you'll know it's not
yeah,
human. But a lot of times you see the things stalking people at night, so it's really
yep,
effective.
yeah, and it is very crazy, and it's basically the bug the lady, the doctor engineered, allowed it to reproduce at an accelerated rate, and it evolved over tens of thousands of generations only within that 3 year time, and developing the ability to mimic human prey. That's where the name comes from.
Hmm.
So it's very, very cool. And these bugs are just badass. I mean, these things are wicked. And blood is definitely gives them some attraction. And
I was scared of this movie
it's
coming
just,
up too.
oh man, that gave me the willies, especially like when they're, realizing that the bugs are even adapting more to becoming more human like. Uh, it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy, but it is a creepy, very sci-fi-ish horror movie, and it is definitely on that rental list
Definitely worth
of
a
if you
watch.
need a good ooh la la, that's one of your movies. Definitely, Mimic was one of those films that was very pseudo original to me because you don't see it until like near the very end. I mean, it just doesn't happen, and then it's like, oh my god, whoa, very cool, very cool.
And pretty good use of the practical effects too.
Oh yeah, yeah. That whole movie is practical. There was really no CGI really kind of in play at that time frame either. So you had to really they had to really work it on that episode that movie. But very
Um,
cool movie. Very cool movie.
let me ask you another one that's a bit more hokey. It's fun, and it put Billy Zane on my radar. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
I have seen that one. Strangely, in
I
fact,
love that
I was
movie.
gonna say something earlier, but I figured we dive into it later because I saw it on the list. I'm like, oh man, Demon Knight! Holy crap! Yeah,
That
that was a
that's my
crazy
movie.
movie.
That is my movie, and a lot of it has to do with Billy Zane's performance.
Yeah, he was the big head, whatever he was. I guess
He
demon.
was a demon. They called him the collector, and but it's Billy Zane being Billy Zane, but it works for the character because he's he's like dangerous, but he's suave, charismatic.
Yes, he's got that he reeks that. Um, Actually, any role he's kind of played, he's got that same
Yeah,
charisma.
Yep.
style that I don't know how you could really describe it, but you know it's Billy Zane
Hmm.
by just by that. Like when he played in the Phantom, when he played in what was that Western movie?
Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone. You know, he even though he was kind of dorky in Tombstone, but he still carried that
Yeah.
way with him.
In one of
And
those movies,
pretty,
the Scorpion King, I think the third movie.
yeah, he played in that one too.
Yeah. They got.
Yeah,
I don't want to get off sidetrack, but I got to bring this up. He's like the main antagonist of the movie. Does all of this crazy stuff. Gets down to this final fight between him and Matthias, and what does he do? He drops the sword and like, okay, you win.
you got it. It's you. We're all right.
Billy Zane is just off the chain. He's one of my favorite actors, and it's because of that movie that got me like him because I like a bad guy that has personality, and he's got personality.
He's fun. He's definitely interesting. He's played a lot of many different roles. Uh, he's just very charismatic and fun.
Hmm.
That's today's big word, charismatic.
I know you've seen Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side. Tales from the Dark Side. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me see that one, and I probably have seen that one.
It's the one where the boy, the paper boy got kidnapped by this woman in the house, and she was going to eat him. And what he was trying to do was he kept reading stories to try to buy time off his
Hmm.
short film.
It's kind of
Uh,
like what was that movie? Tales. I mean, not for was it Creep Show? Kind of
yeah,
something like that.
kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one particularly, but
It's
I'm kind of reading
awesome.
it real quick. But yes, keep on, carry on.
It's yeah, I think it's four stories. I know one of them was this dude who was like an artist end up seeing this gargoyle, like an actual gargoyle, kill this guy, and the gargoyle told him he would spare his life if the dude didn't say that he saw him, that he didn't, that you know what I'm saying, act like he didn't see the gargoyle at all.
I didn't see nothing. I wasn't here.
Man, that one is my jam. I'm trying to think of which one it is though, which story it is.
Let's see. There's Lot 242. That's a mummy. Cat from Hell. Nope.
Lover's Vow. That's the one.
Lover's Vow. The monster agrees to spare his life as long as he never speaks of what he saw or described the monster's appearance to
Yep.
anyone.
Yep. That one was a good one. I like the one. Is that the Cat from Hell?
Cat from Hell's the second one.
That one is the funniest shit I've ever seen. That Cat from Hell. I don't care what nobody says. I laughed my ass off watching that. That's my favorite one. It was funny because this it's about this guy, this old rich guy that has this cat in his house, and the cat is he blames the cat for the deaths of like three people he knows. And then he literally hires a hitman to kill the cat.
I think I remember hearing about that one.
And the whole like scenario of it is just retarded. It still makes me laugh to this day.
I do. I remember something about that. I sure do. That's
And
crazy.
it's funny. Um, what was the first one though? Oh yeah, it had
Lot 242. Classmates cheated. It's got Steve
Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi and Juliana Moore and Robert Segwick.
Yeah, uh,
Uh, for
they found a mummy and they cheated Steve Buscemi's character out of like credit for the mummy or something, and he summoned the mummy to come after them.
That was
It,
kind of
it,
messed up.
it was that one was straight. That one was straight.
That one kind of that whole story set kind of reminds me of something that would have happened on Amazing Stories. Kind of in a weird way though.
Uh,
So familiar.
but speaking of this I was looking at the Creep Show to see when they came out, but apparently the first one came out in the '80s, which I think I remember one of us brought up.
Yeah, we talked about that on the last one. Believe the second one. Hang on, I may have run across.
Nope, came out in the '80s too.
All right, so scratch that.
Okay, I'll bring up another one. You ever heard of Tales from the Hood?
I have, but I've never seen it. But I have so many people who talk about that movie, especially two guys who are from New York.
It was actually pretty good. I think my favorite one was the cop. Uh, where there's this one where this cop, this guy, like these white cops, and it was a black cop too, but the black cop didn't do it. In fact, he didn't do anything. But these white cops beat this black guy to death, and then like later on, that same black guy that they killed him. He comes back and starts taking them off one by one. So I'm like that one was creepy. That one did scare me when I was a kid.
Didn't he have like the? No, I'm sorry. That's probably Dead Presidents. I'm thinking of the skull face.
Oh no,
That was probably Dead Presidents. I think.
yeah, that was Dead Presidents. I need to get that Tales from the Hood. In fact, I found out that they got a sequel.
What?
So I want to see if that sequel's any good.
That'd be kind of
In
cool.
fact, they said it dropped on DVD 2 days ago. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up.
What luck for you?
Okay, what would you consider? You say you consider Sleepy Hollow a horror slash fantasy, right?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of everything because they had like some steampunk. They had the horror, Christopher Walken and all. You had the weird tech, and quite exactly like the book, or at least they threw a little bit of many different things in there. Ichabod Crane was Johnny Depp, and he was kind of like, I think he was a detective instead of a school teacher.
Yeah, he was a detective.
And so he came in, so there was a little bit of change there, but I mean, he had a lot of the gothic / steampunky style to him, and then you had you did have the kind of the horror story, the horseman and all that was Christopher Walken, and just there was a lot of variance in there, but I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it.
I do think that the steampunk like gothic theme worked really well with the horror elements of it.
Yeah, they had to kind of throw something in there because they were changing the Ichabod Crane's character up a little bit in this one, so it was different. And they kind of changed. I say there was a lot of stuff that kind of changed around in there. They had a lot of the characters that you read in the book are brought a little bit more fuller than they are described in the book. They talk about the characters, but they just don't go into them.
Yeah.
Ichabod Crane has remember her name.
I'm gonna call her Christina Ricci.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Christina Ricci, but what was her? I was trying to remember her actual role name. Oh, dog, what do you want? I have a very large 117-pound lap dog over here trying to be in my lap, and he just don't fit. Come on, buddy. You can't go play on the computer. But, how the story went and what we know, they did a really good job about it. I was trying to remember the weird, crazy part at the end with the horseman, basically not being under control anymore. So a little bit different storyline.
Yeah.
It ends up being more of a curse than just the mystery of who the headless horseman is and taking people's heads on the bridge there in Sleepy Hollow. So they did add a little extra ooh la la
I
to
would give
the
if there's,
storyline.
if there's one thing about this movie that I like. I mean, I like this. I love the movie. I think it's great. It's one thing about this movie that just shines above so many other movies. They actually gave Casper Van Dien an actual good role.
What did he play in this one? I forgot.
He was like the rival.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. He was the guy who taunted Ichabod all the time.
Yep.
I know who you're talking about. He was interested in Katrina as well. So
I mean, he died.
Baltus.
He did die, but he went out like a soldier. He didn't do the typical Casper Van Dien exit. If there's one movie I like him in, is this one.
It was definitely different. I really kind of didn't know what to expect. Oh, Ray Park was in there too, man.
Ray Park was in there.
Yeah, he played the Headless Horseman as well as Christopher Walken. Walken played the version that you could see, but Park
Yeah.
played his basically bodily double
Park,
throughout the stunts and stuff throughout the movie.
I need to do a video about all the characters that he's played.
He's got a butt ton.
Yeah.
He has got a lot of movies that he is in, and like I said, I didn't even know. I mean, without the playing without the mask on, it's kind of hard. We know he's Darth Maul. We could see him, or Toad,
He played Toad,
but you don't really see him often. He plays Snake Eyes too in G.I. Joe, but you don't see his face.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did.
Hold on, you keep yapping and let me transition the doggy out my door just a
bit. All right. Now I want to say jump up to 1999. There was a film called Ravenous that came out, and in it was about this cannibalism. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. He played on Once Upon a Time. I like the actor. I can't think of his name right now, but the movie was actually pretty cool. I like the soundtrack too, but I like the whole idea that they threw around about the cannibalism. It was an interesting concept. It was an interesting concept that actually had some likable characters. I thought the movie went at a really good pace. And if you like violence and gore, you'll get that in this film because Robert Carlyle, that's his name. Robert Carlyle was the main guy going around eating folks.
Yummy.
And Guy Pearce was in the movie.
Which movie did you jump on, Tim?
Ravenous.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's about it was about cannibalism.
Lovely.
It was set.
Ravenous.
Yeah, it was set. I think the story itself was set like during the Revolutionary War.
1840s, yes. California Gold Rush time frame.
Yeah. And I actually liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I thought, and I like Jeffrey Jones in the film too. He was a very likable character.
That's great. I think I even remember a story about. I think it was on one of the because they were talking about a character here, a creature called, where was it? I think it's a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wendigo myth. And I've heard that story before on one of I think it was Supernatural, the TV show.
Yeah.
I think they kind of covered something similar to the style of story. Not exactly, but the premise of a lot of this kind of falls along that line.
I was not to mention, I'm thinking, were they including some of that into it? Because they were saying in the film that if you consumed another man or whatever, it healed you faster, it made you stronger, it made your senses like more heightened and everything.
Yep.
So I'm interested if that was partially influenced into it as well. I know they did mention it not Indian tribes, but I know they did mention like tribes and cannibalism, but the Wendigo myth as well. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, throwing it out there and seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
It was.
Yeah, this is And in fact, you know what? I even want to say that some of this story also falls along the lines of a what was it, X File? It was an X File show. I didn't quite do the Wendigo storyline, but a lot of the strength and longevity of eating human flesh and all.
Yep.
There was an X File episode that ran across a similar situation. The whole city was in on it basically, but yeah, that's cool. I mean, actually, that one looks kind of interesting. Although I'm not a big horror movie, but I think the concept of this movie really gets my attention.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the film? I know you've seen this. Two very famous vampire films that came out in the 90s.
Interview with a Vampire will be one of them,
That'll be one of them.
and Bram
And the other
Stoker's
one,
Dracula is the other one.
there go the other one. You already knew what I was talking about.
Yep, I was going to talk about them next. Yeah,
Love.
I,
I
I
think
remember
both of
watching
those.
Bram Stoker's Dracula in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
and
Both of
that was
those.
a lot different storyline, and I thought it was pretty cool. Visually, it was really cool too because there was a lot of just crazy stuff in that movie.
And it's actually a pretty good story. Now,
Gary Oldman plays a variety of style of characters. Same person, same character, but over the many years of the Dracula legend, but and how it kind of how the story started and how it ended was
mm-hmm.
very interesting, and I definitely enjoyed that movie. It wasn't so much. Ooh, excuse me. Interview with a Vampire was another very different style of movie. Because I had really never read the book, so to me it was Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, movie that came out, and everybody's like, all the girls were like, "Oh, let's go Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt." So that's how I ended up at that movie because they wanted to go see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of slow for a little bit, and then it got very interesting, especially when it got to Europe.
Yeah.
The game stepped up a lot more, but you really to truly appreciate that movie, I think you really have to read the book,
Yep.
and then a lot of it will make sense to you, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's why." But there was another series of that movie.
Queen of the Dam.
Yes, damn, I liked more. It was a little more modernized, but I liked it more than Interview
Check
with the
out
Vampire.
Interview the Vampire.
Yeah, Lestat continues on, but I mean the movie's good. It's definitely good. It's a long movie too, but for that one you really need to have some background into that movie because some of it won't make sense to you. You don't quite understand how they work, but it is because you get caught in a time frame. As far as Lestat's the only vampire at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and he ends up making Brad Pitt another vampire, kind of sort of with his want, but when he realizes he's losing his humanity over it, wants to retain as close to humanity, where Lestat does not. Carrie wants to do, he does what he wants. He does as I will. I am a god, basically. You can't do anything to me. But the humanity of Brad Pitt's character carries over and takes that away from Lestat. So
Me and
it
Madam B were talking about this series in one of the videos a while back, a few months ago.
I
We were
do
talking
remember.
about Interview the Vampire versus Queen of the Dam.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely one of those films where, the traditional Tom Cruise trope.
And he didn't run in there either.
It didn't apply in this movie. Tom Cruise is actually Lestat in this movie. It ain't Tom Cruise. It's actually Lestat.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's
Yeah,
a
you
great
don't have the
blend.
action star film. You have a
Yep.
dramatically character who has a god complex.
Yep. And I
And
love that he's a fantastic bad guy. And the thing about it is, he was likable.
he was
I mean,
lively. He was interesting. He was this
personality.
laissez-faire
Hmm.
that he didn't care about squat, but yet the Pitts character was like, I can't do that. I can't be that way.
Hmm.
And he didn't want to lose his humanity over being that way. Basically, he thought he was going to lose his soul, which he kind of really did anyway. But throughout the story, you watch, learn, you grow, and you evolve, and then you run into. I was trying to think of the vampire in Europe.
Vampire in Europe.
Yeah, when they went to Europe, the black haired guy from Desperado.
Uh, uh, you talking about oh my gosh, Antonio Banderas' character?
Yes, 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 yes. Where he was, the vampires there were even older than Lestat. So they had, Europe was more targeted to the original vampires and had lived, basically they didn't want to grow. They didn't want to change with the world. They wanted to keep the world as it was, and he didn't. And that's where he saw Brad's character was like, hey, I want what you got. I don't want to be like those jokers. I want to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where the movie starts twisting in there, and you see a lot of change, and they step beyond that, and that's how you get the accounting of the story. But it's very cool. It's definitely worthwhile watching, and it's very interesting of how things do go. Louis, that's what his name was,
Louis.
Louis.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's character was Louis. As Louis, tries to retain his humanity by refusing to step down to the vampire, everybody's a piece of food, but yet still keeps or at least tries to keep his humanity. So it's a lot of conflict in that movie. It's a lot of there's a lot of evolution of the characters. There's a lot of story in the characters, and you still are kind of left with questions. And then Queen of the Dam comes along and answers a lot of those questions, but you now don't have the Brad Pitt or Lestat characters as we saw them. Everybody wants to keep the same characters, and they have new actors for it, but the same roles.
Yeah.
So a lot of people had heartburn with that, but I think Queen of the Dam was one of the better of the movies, or at least I liked the style of the movie, and I liked the music to it, the whole thing too. So a little biased on that, but I think it was very interesting to see the continuation of how what happened afterwards. So, but only personal opinion.
My one of my all-time favorite horror movies, but it's more sci-fi horror. Predator 2.
Yes. Yes,
That
yes,
movie's my
yes, yes,
jam.
yes, yes. When at the very beginning of it, when they take out the cartel.
They're not playing. He's not playing this time. And what makes it awesome is the fact that I think this one is presented more of a horror movie than any of the others.
Yeah, it was a lot more suspenseful, but
Yeah.
you didn't see a lot of the Predator. I mean, you saw some things happen, but you were always one step behind through the whole movie until was it the meat plant?
And then a lot of the time when they showed them, it was at night. See, in the first one, it was more science thriller, and then it was more established in the daytime. But in the Predator 2, a lot of the time the thing attacked or came about, it was at night. And I think that worked a lot for like some of the more effective shots when it comes to the part where the Jamaican guys was in the place and he attacked them.
Yep.
But you couldn't see him. Like that. That was one of the most memorable parts.
Dropped all them dudes, just horribly gruesome deaths.
Mm.
And even throughout, even some of the chase stuff, you didn't actually even see it. I mean, you really didn't see much until literally, I think, the meat factory.
That's
because nobody had an idea until they bagged Glover's character chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Shut up! You're gonna ruin everything. We've been chasing this guy for weeks. You're ruining it." And then, of course, you had old crazy ass Gary Busey in there.
As always.
Yeah, I don't think he ever plays a straight role of anything. I think the guy's already kind of messed up anyway.
When did did you ever say movie Sleepwalkers?
Don't ring a bell, no.
About like this mom and the son were, I guess, cat demons, and then the son would always lure like attractive women to the house, and they suck out the soul or something.
Definitely haven't seen that one.
I just came across and I was like, yeah, we did watch that movie. It was a really interesting movie. Like they looked like cats, like they could transform into these like giant cat creatures, but I think they were afraid of regular cats. And because one of the parts was this cop was chasing the son. So what the son did was, and it was great how the camera angle did it. He pulled to the side of the road, made his car go invisible. Then the cop passed him because he didn't see the car. And then not only did he make the car it made the car invisible. When the cop passed him, he became visible again, and the car transformed into a totally different car.
Hmm.
So that was actually what a half bad movie. I want to go back and rewatch it. And the first Leprechaun came out in the 90s. Leprechaun sucks. The whole damn series.
It was kind of a. I don't even know where they were trying to go with that movie.
Like if it was serious and maybe had some comedic moments, fine. I mean, and I suppose it is serious with comedic moments, but I went back and watched the first one, and in fact, me and Madam B watched all of them because we did review them. And yeah, that is some bad movies, and I like Warwick Davis, but like the tropes and stuff that Leprechaun, come on now, them movies sucked. I'm looking at the Halloween movies that came out in the 90s. They all sucked. I don't know where you rate that on the Halloween, but they suck. I'm
I never
sorry.
got into it. I just never dove into it.
I know you've seen I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Nope.
Have you seen the sequel?
I haven't watched any of those movies.
Man, you don't know what you're missing. Those two were
I
actually
just
pretty good.
if I had my other half here, or one of the kids in here, they's like, "Oh yeah, we love all those movies." But see, I just never jumped on those. They never really scream. I mean, sometimes like when I catch a movie, like a horror movie or something like that, like Arachnophobia was one I never saw in the
Arachnophobia.
theater. I didn't care about seeing it. I had no desire. And then one night there was just like nothing on TV, and boom, Arachnophobia comes on. It's got John Goodman in it. And then I like, okay. Then I started watching it. I don't like spiders, so it really kind of irked me and creeped me out. But it was an accidental movie. But I mean, it turned out to be pretty good. I mean, it was actually, fairly decent. But I would
Yeah,
have never gone and watched that. I would have never, I'm a big wuss when it comes to movies like that. I
I
just didn't go on it.
I don't like spiders either. And for the longest time, that movie scared me.
It
So
still kind of creeps me. I just don't, especially like when I think jumps at, it's like, ugh, grody.
I watched it. I went back and watched it like 2 years ago because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and watch this movie and see if it's as creepy as I believe it is. And it was still a creepy ass movie, but I wasn't like scared. But I'm like watching it and I was like, man, this is gross.
Yeah, it was just not my gig.
But it's still you're right, it still is a pretty good movie.
It's got a little bit of humor. It's got a little bit of creepy, a lot of creepy actually, but it's just there.
Did you
And like,
I know you've seen that movie Vampires with James Woods and Daniel
yes,
Baldwin.
yep. And there was another one around that same time that had another. What was the name of that movie? Was it Wes Craven's? There was another like it was either like Wes Craven or one of them other horror directors had a.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
John
That's
Carpenter.
it. John Carpenter. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's it. That's the
Yep.
movie.
Yep. I didn't know if it was one and the same because there was a lot of those movies going on about that same time.
I was watching I went back and watched Graveyard Shift too. And they did Brad Dourif wrong in that movie. And it's an interesting story. But Stephen King come up with some stuff. But Brad Dourif died in like the first 10 minutes of the freaking movie.
Next. I hate when you get one of those characters that you like or one of those actors that you like, and they're in there for like 10 minutes to get you started in, and then something grisly, horrible, bad happens to them. And I was trying to remember we were talking about a movie, and it had God, I can't think of his name. It was like an action movie. And this is one of the characters, they hyped them all up. They had the special team guys, and they're getting ready to board on the plane, and he gets sucked out through the thing. you're like, what? Dude, the main cool guy just got sucked out the airplane. What the hell? And it's just like these other movies. You get get that character or somebody you like in there, and next thing you know, it's like they're dead. What happened? I blinked for like 2 seconds, and they're dead. And that's so irritating. They just use them long enough to hook you into a movie, and then they kill them. Lame,
Did
very
you
lame.
see the other movie with Brad Dourif in it called Death Machine?
I've never heard of that one.
Oh my gosh, we used to laugh at that movie. So I mean, I guess it is like a sci-fi horror where Brad Dourif character named Dante, I believe, builds this robot that senses fear or can see like the pheromones when a person is scared, and that's how it hunts people. And it's this big, oversized robot with claws and a jaw like this. And
I was trying to look it up here and see what the.
it's kooky, and you can tell Brad Dourif is having fun with the role because he plays Brad Dourif in the movie.
Well, the
And,
guy who did the effects on it was like really cool because he did a lot of cool things like Life Force, Aliens, Witches, and Split Second. That's a crazy movie too. Was that a '90s movie? Oh, that is a '90s movie. Ha! We're gonna talk about that one. That was
oh
kind of
man,
messed up.
they got Alien Resurrection.
What?
That was not a good movie.
No, they had Alien 3 in the '90s.
I I want to go back and have like a what they could have done better session with Alien 3, Alien Resurrection.
Not made it.
I like the concepts for both. It was just the way that they went about doing it.
Yeah, they sucked.
Like,
After Aliens 2, the rest just blow.
like,
They
you
don't
can
do
make it
anything good.
like I even came up with like think about Alien 3. Not all of those people there should have been prisoners. There should have been some civilians as well. That would have helped made the characters a little bit more well rounded. Also, and I will admit this: they should not have killed Newt. They shouldn't have killed off uh, Higgs.
Yeah, I know. They should have kept them alive.
Hmm.
That was the first part of the problem.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that, and I thought about it. I say,
Oh, see,
okay,
that's where we go. We didn't even have to see them. We just knew them from Aliens 2. And then next thing you know, they're dead. And we don't even see them truly die. We see them hit the ground and game over.
you know what should have been worked out better or something. Like what it should have been is maybe if they could have fit in some kind of way where they had to jettison Ripley out of the thing or something. Like they were forced to or something. That would have made a little bit more sense because they would have been alive. Now I get that they couldn't get them to come back, but for various reasons. But and Alien Resurrection, I still don't understand the concept of the aliens having this like this outbreak on this military grade ship, and the
Oh, yeah.
military
Well,
don't go,
they were
don't fight.
experimenting with them as weapons. That was the whole concept.
But the thing about it is that it's the military. They didn't even fight. What was the first thing they did? Everybody took off.
Well, yeah, because they got the alert to go, not fight. See, if they
But
had turned around and fought, that would
but
have been much better of a
yeah, that would have been a better movie. Like I
That
could
would have been a way
understand.
better movie.
I could understand if they'd have fought and then like maybe half of them died. Then it was like, okay, we can't. We lost the ship. Okay, let's run. And I think Alien 3 would have been better if it would have played off like how Alien 2 did. Well, Alien 2 is what happens after the infestation and all the colonists and people got killed. Alien 3 should have been like them stuck on that prison planet and it started. Like the first alien that came out was a queen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would have played out better. That way you got now you have a reason for the civilians and the criminals to you know what I'm saying to have to band together. And not all the criminals had to been the worst of the worst. I didn't like that.
Well, it says they were a colony of where'd it go?
At least two.
It was a crazy.
At least two or three of them should have been there for like tax evasion or something.
You don't isolate somebody in space on a prison colony. They were like bad people. They were there for a reason.
I'm just saying, you know, they all shouldn't have been like that, and all of them shouldn't have been like assholes either.
No,
Because
they were all crazy except for
yeah,
old Goofy Eye.
Dylan was the only one that wasn't, and that was Charles S. Dutton again.
Yeah, they could have. We could really rag into the alien world because there's a lot of cool stuff and the graphic novels and
Mm-hmm.
you know Alien versus Predator that they didn't quite cover and any of the even though that we had the movie AVP 2, AVP 1, we still didn't see a lot of the storylines that are there. You know, it's great, interesting, but
I'm going to
there's
go.
much
I'm
more.
definitely going to go back, and I'm going to write down a list of all the stuff that they should have did with Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, and I'm going to do a what they could have done better video. I'm going to do it for Prometheus, and I'm going to do it for Alien Covenant. Everything they could have did better. But before I go off on the diatribe, let's go ahead and move on to the next. Uh, I got another vampire movie. Have you ever watched Innocent Blood?
Nope, that doesn't ring a bell at all.
It's about this vampire, this young vampire woman. She probably ain't young at all. She ends up infecting a mob boss. She bit and infected a mob boss, and then he started building like an army of vampires. Well, he started to, but it's the vampire chick and this cop, and they're trying to deal with taking out this mob boss guy. And the mob boss guy, I can't remember this guy's name because he seems like one of those actors that always plays like in the mob or like the Godfather or something. But he did a fantastic job. The only thing I didn't like about that movie was the damn cop guy. I thought he was a dumb character. And in fact, Innocent Blood, I believe, is actually based on a comic.
I This does look familiar. At least the cover. Um,
I really liked it when she was like her eyes kept changing colors.
yeah.
Although it was kind of funny in some of the shots because it looked like she had a lazy eye, but it's the idea that counts.
I see. Okay, I see what she was doing. She was staying in the criminal world, killing bad
Yeah,
guys,
killing
and
criminals.
then blowing their heads off or blowing them away with a shotgun to cover up the fact that they had been attacked by a vampire, and the
And it
future
keeps them from coming
tried
back.
to basically
Yeah,
rape her.
she did it to keep them from turning into vampires. But the mob boss is the one she kind of messed up on. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Uh, and we recently watched this movie called Mind Ripper. It looks like it said come out in '95. That was a terrible movie. I literally was thinking about trying to figure out the name of this movie for like 20 years. Serious, like dead serious. 20 years trying to figure out the name of this movie because I wanted to go back and rewatch it. And we was watching Tubi TV, and Madam B just pulled it up. Like, and she wasn't even trying. She just pulls it up. So we went and watched it, and I was like, "This is a terrible movie."
How bad can we go?
I was like, "God!" It's got the guy from the guy that played Bishop in Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's him. He's like one of the main leads in the movie.
He plays in a lot of sci-fi type /
Yeah,
horror movies.
and Mind Ripper is about this. They found this I don't know, some government secret group or whatever found this dead body in the hills. So they experimented on it to I don't know bring them back or I don't know what the hell they were doing. They experimented on it, and then it came back as this super soldier creature that needed to eat people's brains,
Lovely.
and it was a pretty bad movie. Stop. It was a
Camping.
bad.
Sometimes they have original ideas, but they don't get the money to really make it worthwhile. But they try their best, and you're like, God bless them for trying to make a good movie. it had a great idea, but execution was horrible. And
They
and
didn't
it's
do it.
not necessarily their fault. I mean, it's just you only get like $10,000 to make a movie, but you have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million idea,
Yeah,
and execution is just not something you can do.
it was more of the script. I mean, yes, it was low. It looked low budget as hell, but it was more of like the script was the problem. Like the characters were kind of stupid, and they were utterly forgettable. There was more, even with the guy that was the creature. It was one scene. He was like, because he was talking to somebody before he killed him, and he was like, "Look, I'm changing." And when he said it, when he said he was changing, you don't see no he at that point you couldn't see him change. You didn't see no change in him at all. But he said he was like this, and he was like, "But I'm changing." And then he looked up, and his eyes were like yellow, and I was like, "Well, how did you know your eyes were yellow?"
You can't see your own eyes.
Because they just did it. Like when he said it, I was like, "But how did you know your eyes were yellow to do that?" And I was like, later on, later on in the movie, he changed. He was started changing. Like you see the physical changes. But I was like, so why didn't you say that after you lost your hair and started mutating a little bit more? It kind of makes more sense.
Hmm.
But it was a terrible movie. I would like to see like a remake if somebody to do a remake for it. And I'm gonna bring up one more movie, and I'm gonna let you drop one before we have to wrap this up. Me and Madam B watched a vampire movie called Death by Temptation, and it's literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Lovely.
A vampire horror film, and it's about this like she vampire that's trying to get a virgin or pure hearted virgin, and I don't know why. I can't remember why. It's how stupid it was. And the characters were the only character that was worth a damn was you remember Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yes.
You know the guy that was like the comedy relief, the one that was like turning into a ghoul.
It's been a long time.
The guy, Max, Eddie Murphy's character was like he's my sidekick now.
Pull that up real quick. Like,
But for those who why you looked it over, but for those who don't know, he's in Death by Temptation, and his character is actually likable in this movie. And like the whole movie just like the vampire chick, she's supposedly a vampire, but does all of this weird stuff that has nothing to do with the damn vampire. It's like alternate reality type stuff. She even did this thing where a TV ate a guy, and I was like,
what?
"What the hell has that got to do?" And she had these weird, stupid transformations, and it was a dumb movie. Whoever thought of it? In fact, the person that played the main character was the guy who directed the film, and I was like, this man should not work in film another day in his life. He need to go back to the mailroom or whatever. That's a bad movie.
That kind of reminds me of another one called Forsaken. I always call it Forsucking. That movie.
I think I
movie
saw
was bad. Oh
that.
my god! I can't even believe I paid money to see that. Ugh. I wanted a refund after that. It was so bad. Ugh. Terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible movie.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and get the last one in before we have to end this. We definitely got to come back for the night. There's a hell of a lot more movies.
Uh, we were talking. Well, one of the ones I saw, and I saw this at like some dollar theater. Me and my dad and my sister went and saw this movie, and my mom and somebody else went to go see another movie, and it was called Split Second. And it has Kim Cattrall, Rutger Hauer, a couple other people in there, but it's basically kind of. It was set in 2008, London, and it's kind of like an I don't say apocalyptic, but there's a lot of just strange things. The Earth's all jacked up, and it's basically a cop, Rutger Hauer, and they're tracking on a serial killer, and it always leaves like weird stuff like based on lunar solids, so like all kind of like I don't want to say demonic, but satanic looking or pagan type writings, and it's just crazy stuff. But you never see what actually does it, and you always kind of hear it. And the movie's like super suspenseful. I mean, because you're always like, is it gonna show? Are you gonna see it? What is it? What's doing it? Stay move on to something else, so you never kind of see what's going on here, which is really cool because it keeps you thinking and wondering what's going on, and it ends up kind of being some kind of crazy looking creature, and it doesn't explain a lot what that creature was. It just has to get this guy. It's after him, around him. And he kind of overcomes the bad guy, and everybody kind of has a happy day. But it's just a crazy, crazy movie, and it's like super. I mean, I remember because it was just like you're on edge the whole time. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't have a sense of direction. You have a lot of, what's going on, and even in the last minute, you're still not sure what just happened. But you're all anxiety like. And that's what really stuck in my head. And it's a crazy horror movie, but it's more storytelling and less practical. But it just gives you the willies. It's crazy. And I think what was it? Anxiety. What's the guy live on? He says anxiety, coffee, and chocolate. An ongoing thing. And the same thing is what you feel like when you're done watching this movie. But it's cool. It's a good DVD rental. You just got to kind of stick with it a little bit, but hopefully you'll feel the same craziness that I did, because even, that was damn near 20 years ago, and I still remember that movie, and it's just how crazy it was. So,
That's a looking creature, actually.
But you hardly ever, I mean, that's the only time you actually see it, is on the cover. When you saw the movie, you never saw it, and even in the movie, you really never truly see it. It's all suspense. I mean, there's a little bit of practical at the end, but I mean, the whole movie is driven literally by suspense. And I thought that was what was really cool, because you never see it until the very, 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 very end of the movie. And even then, it's partial. So, but it's just a crazy ride movie. I mean, you will feel very anxiety-ish after watching that movie. My dad and I were like, so, anyway, that's for this episode.
This episode was brought to you by Split Second.
Go check out Rutger Hauer in a movie that 1992. You'll love it.
That helped define the whole sci-fi horror post-apocalyptic genre.
Dun dun dun. Next week.
Well, we've come to the end of this segment, guys. We definitely got to come back with another 90s horror films, because there's so many.
We missed a lot of movies.
Yeah. But in the comment section below, let us know your thoughts about your favorite 90s movies. Which ones did you like that we mentioned or didn't like that we mentioned? Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel. As well as stay tuned for the next video where we're going to be talking about Conan the Barbarian.
Yay!
All right, then. We'll catch you guys later.